A very cute girl, but she's not your usual type of girl.
20 crossovers from 70s. TV shows that you definitely forgot. What if I told you that Robin Williams' career-defining character was born because Henry Winkler refused to do a typical Happy Days episode?
Come on, we have an appointment to keep. With whom? Dracula.
One crossover launched comedy's biggest legend, but it was supposed to be completely different. One crossover has 900,000 YouTube views and makes grown adults cry. Another literally doesn't exist online anymore. A cartoon crossover accidentally predicted the Marvel Universe by 30 years. It involves a mystery dog and Batman. From sitcoms that launched spin-off empires to cop shows that changed how we see heroes,
About is black. And what do you think I am, Sundan?
these 20 crossovers prove the 70s were the secret golden age of shared television universes. But there's one crossover rule that every 70s show followed that modern TV completely ignores. When you see what it is, you'll understand why today's crossovers feel so different. Number 20, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, 1974. The most beloved crossover of the decade, and with nearly 900,000 YouTube views, clearly the one that still makes people cry happy tears.
Secondhand bookstore. Discreet marriage manual for the demure young woman.
One of television's most beloved friendships got the send-off it deserved when Mary Richards and the whole WJM gang traveled to New York
Mary! Oh, Rhoda! Mary! Hi!
for Rhoda Morgenstern's wedding. The Mary Tyler Moore Show was workplace comedy perfection, and Rhoda had become everyone's favorite supporting character.
Oh, good. It'll give me a chance to kiss the bride.
Carlton, there's a buck in it for you if you keep your hands off the bride.
On October 28, 1974, CBS aired the special two-part Rhoda episode, Rhoda's Wedding, bringing Mary, Lou Grant, Murray Slaughter, Phyllis Lindstrom, and Georgette Franklin to New York City for the big celebration. Watching the Minneapolis gang navigate New York while supporting their friend was pure television gold.
What's new?
Nothing much.
Same here.
Mary trying to be the perfect maid of honor, Lou getting emotional about his girl getting married, Murray making jokes to cover his feelings.
You know, I love romance, Rhoda. Tell me what you did.
It felt like a real group of friends celebrating a major life moment. This crossover worked because it honored the genuine relationships that made the Mary Tyler Moore Show special. Number 19, All in the Family, 1971. When Archie Bunker met his match in Edith's cousin Maude, television got one of its most explosive confrontations. With 620,000 YouTube views, this is clearly a moment that still resonates.
Maud! Edith! Wait a minute!
All in the Family was already pushing boundaries, but Maude Findlay pushed back even harder. On December 11th, 1971, CBS aired Cousin Maude's Visit, introducing B. Arthur's Maude as Edith's liberal feminist cousin.
Maud? So? I want to sit in my chair. Oh? You're gonna...
When Maude arrived to help during a family crisis, she immediately locked horns with Archie over everything from women's rights to politics.
From Roosevelt was worth a barrel full of, let me make this.
Picture this, Archie Bunker, the king of his queen's castle, suddenly facing someone who wouldn't back down from his bigotry.
My chair back!
Maude didn't just disagree with Archie. She systematically demolished his arguments while he turned redder than his favorite chair. This crossover worked because it showed that family dinner could become a battleground for social change. Sometimes the best television happens when characters refuse to let ignorance go unchallenged. Number 18, Mork and Mindy, 1978. One of the most famous TV crossovers ever, and 483,000 YouTube viewers prove it's still appointment television. Happy Days was pure 1950s nostalgia, celebrating simpler times and traditional values. Then along came Mork from Ork, and everything got wonderfully weird. On February 28, 1978, ABC aired My Favorite Orkin, where an alien visitor arrived in 1950s, Milwaukee, and immediately fascinated Fonzie and the gang.
You got a girl, and they put their lips together, you see, and then they kind of...
Robin Williams' manic energy as Mork was so incredible that ABC gave him his own show within months. Picture the Fonz, the coolest guy in Milwaukee, trying to figure out an alien who spoke backwards and didn't understand Earth customs. Watching Henry Winkler's controlled coolness interact with Robin Williams' chaotic comedy was like seeing two different planets collide in the best possible way. This crossover launched one of the biggest comedy careers in television history. Sometimes the best crossovers don't just entertain, they discover legends. Number 17. Shazam, 1975. Saturday morning superhero team-up that 318,000 YouTube viewers can't forget. Followed young Billy Batson, transforming into the world's mightiest mortal, while The Secrets of Isis featured high school science teacher Andrea Thomas, becoming the ancient Egyptian goddess. Both shows aired back-to-back on CBS, creating the perfect setup for a crossover. On October 18, 1975, these two heroes finally met in the Shazam episode The Odd Couple. When a dangerous situation required both magical and scientific solutions, Captain Marvel and Isis had to work together to save the day. Watching these two champions of justice combine Billy's youthful enthusiasm with Andrea's teaching wisdom was pure Saturday morning gold. This wasn't just superhero action. It was educational television with actual superpowers. The crossover worked because both shows understood that real heroism comes from helping others, not just throwing punches. Plus, seeing two Egyptian-powered heroes team up decades before the Marvel Cinematic Universe? That was basically prehistoric shared universe magic right there. Number 16. The $6 Million Man, 1976. The ultimate superhero team-up happened years before Marvel made it cool, and 291,000 YouTube viewers prove this is still appointment television. The $6 Million Man had Steve Austin saving the world with his bionic abilities, while the Bionic Woman featured Jamie Summers as his equally enhanced partner. On October 31, 1976, ABC aired the epic Kill Oscar trilogy, with Part 2 appearing on The $6 Million Man, while Parts 1 and 3 aired on The Bionic Woman. When their boss, Oscar Goldman, was kidnapped and replaced with a robot duplicate, both bionic heroes had to work together to save him and expose the conspiracy. Watching Steve and Jaime combine their superhuman abilities was like seeing the perfect action movie play out over 3 episodes. Bionic strength, super speed, and enhanced hearing all working together to fight a threat that neither could handle alone. This crossover proved that the best partnerships happen when equals work together. Sometimes saving the world requires more than one superhero. Number 16. Good Times, 1972. Norman Lear's television universe was expanding, and when Maude met Florida Evans, television history was made. With 172,000 YouTube views, people are still discovering this groundbreaking moment. Maude was the outspoken liberal feminist taking on social issues, while Good Times would later showcase Florida as the strong matriarch of a struggling Chicago family.
Telling me, woman, this is my career. You just an amateur.
But honey, it's my house.
On September 26, 1972, CBS aired the Maude episode Maude Meets Florida,
Florida, what are you doing? You don't smoke.
introducing Esther Rolls Florida Evans as Maude's housekeeper. This wasn't just a crossover. It was the birth of what would become one of television's most beloved characters and shows. Watching B. Arthur's Maude interact with Esther Rolls Florida was like seeing two powerhouse performers recognize each other's talent. Maude's privileged feminism meeting Florida's working-class wisdom created television that was both funny and meaningful.
Tell me what's it. I know what's it. What's it is, I'm leaving.
This crossover worked because it showed that strong women come from all backgrounds and circumstances. Sometimes the best partnerships happen when different perspectives meet with mutual respect. Number 15. Charlie's Angels, 1979. Two of ABC's biggest hits decided to set sail together, and it was exactly as fabulous as you'd expect. Just ask the 90,000 people who've watched it on YouTube.
I'm Tiffany Wells.
Charlie's Angels brought glamour and danger to every case, while The Love Boat offered romance and comedy on the high seas. Different vibes, but both shows knew how to entertain. On September 12, 1979, ABC launched the 4th season of Charlie's Angels with Love Boat Angels, a special 2-parter. When a case involving international smuggling led the Angels aboard a cruise ship, they had to work with Captain Steubing and his crew to catch the criminals. Picture the Angels trying to maintain their cover as cruise passengers while conducting a dangerous investigation. Add in the Love Boat crew's attempts to ensure everyone has a good time, and you've got comedy gold mixed with action adventure. It was like watching James Bond meet the Carol Burnett show, and somehow it worked perfectly. This crossover proved that sometimes the best television happens when you throw completely different shows together and see what magic emerges. Number 14. Charlie's Angels and Vega, 1978. Two of the coolest shows of the late 70s decided to team up in Sin City, and 67,000 YouTube viewers
You're Dantana? You're Dantana? I just said that.
hit the jackpot with this one. Charlie's Angels was pure glamour and action, with 3 female private investigators taking on dangerous cases. Vega showcased Dan Tana, the Las Vegas private detective who worked the casinos and entertainment scene. On September 13, 1978, ABC premiered the 3rd season of Charlie's Angels with a special 2-parter, Angels in Vegas, when a case involving casino corruption and murder stretched from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. The Angels had to work with Dan Tana to crack the case. Watching the Angels' sophisticated investigative techniques combined with Dan Tana's insider knowledge of Vegas was like seeing Ocean's 11 meet Mission Impossible. Different styles, same results. The crossover worked because both shows understood that sometimes you need local expertise to solve complex cases. Plus, getting to see the Angels work the Vegas Strip in their iconic 70s fashion? Pure television gold. Number 13. The new Scooby-Doo movies, 1972. The Mystery Inc. gang met the dynamic duo, and Saturday morning television was never the same. With over 53,000 YouTube views, this is clearly a fan favorite. The new Scooby-Doo movies brought in major guest stars.
Soap bubbles, look, Batman! Great Scott, no time to
But Batman and Robin were the ultimate get for any cartoon crossover. On September 16, 1972, CBS aired the dynamic Scooby-Doo affair, where the gang encountered Batman and Robin while investigating mysterious happenings at a mansion. When the case involved both supernatural elements and real criminals, the 2 crime-fighting teams had to combine their skills.
It's Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin? What are you doing here?
Watching Batman's serious detective work mixed with Scooby's comedic cowardice was like seeing Christopher Nolan direct a Three Stooges movie. Fred and Velma got to work alongside the Dark Knight, while Scooby and Shaggy provided comic relief that even made Robin chuckle. This crossover proved that heroes come in all forms. Some wear capes, others just really love Scooby snacks. Sometimes the best crime fighting happens when different approaches work together. Number 12. The Jeffersons, 1971.
That is...
Before the Jeffersons got their own deluxe apartment in the sky, George Jefferson was Archie Bunker's neighbor and frequent sparring partner. With 27,000 YouTube views, people are still discovering this groundbreaking moment. All in the Family was breaking television ground with its honest portrayal of prejudice and social change. On February 16, 1971, CBS aired Lionel Moves into the Neighborhood.
Look, hello, Mr. Jefferson.
Introducing the Jefferson family as the Bunker's new neighbors.
Give me another boy.
You better call Parcel Post.
Sherman Hemsley's George Jefferson immediately proved he could match Archie Bunker insult for insult,
On this here. The hole.
creating one of television's greatest rivalries. Watching Archie's bigotry clash with George's attitude was like watching America's racial tensions play out
Watch this, watch this.
in a queen's living room. Both characters were flawed, both were human, and both represented real people struggling with social change. This crossover launched a television empire. The Jeffersons would get their own series, proving that sometimes the best characters are the ones who refuse to back down from conflict. Number 11. Harlem Globetrotters, 1972. Saturday morning got a whole lot groovier when Scooby and the gang teamed up with the world's most famous basketball team, and 24,000 YouTube viewers can't be wrong. The new Scooby-Doo movies was all about bringing guest stars into the mystery-solving mix, and the Harlem Globetrotters were perfect for some athletic ghost-busting. On December 2, 1972, CBS aired The Ghostly Creep from the Deep, where the Mystery Inc. gang encountered the Globetrotters while investigating supernatural activities at a spooky island resort. When ghostly pirates threatened both the investigation and a charity basketball game, everyone had to work together. Watching the Globetrotters use their incredible basketball skills to help catch monsters was pure Saturday morning magic. Picture Meadowlark Lemon dribbling circles around a ghost while Scooby and Shaggy cheered from the sidelines. It was sports, comedy, and mystery all rolled into one groovy package. This crossover worked because both shows understood that teamwork and humor could solve any problem. Sometimes the best mysteries are solved with a little athletic flair. Number 10. Knots Landing, 1979. The Ewing family oil empire expanded to California when CBS launched Knots Landing as a Dallas spinoff, and it's got nearly 10,000 views, proving people still love their soap opera drama. Dallas was pure Texas soap opera excess, oil money, family betrayals, and enough drama to fuel a dozen shows. Knots Landing would take a more intimate approach to suburban drama. On December 27, 1979, CBS aired the Knots Landing pilot episode, featuring Bobby Ewing, J.R. Ewing, and Lucy Ewing traveling to California to visit Gary Ewing and his new neighbors in the cul-de-sac community. Picture the Ewings, used to Texas-sized everything, suddenly dealing with California suburban life. JR's scheming corporate mind, trying to understand neighborhood barbecues and property value discussions, was like watching a shark try to navigate a swimming pool. This crossover worked because it showed that family drama doesn't stop at state lines. The Ewing dysfunction would follow Gary to California, creating years of compelling television that proved oil and suburbia don't mix well. Number 9. Laverne and Shirley, 1975. The crossover that started it all, and somehow it only has 2,700 YouTube views. Before Laverne and Shirley became one of the biggest sitcoms of the 70s, they were just two Milwaukee brewery workers who caught Fonzie's attention and America's heart. On November 11, 1975, ABC aired A Date with Fonzie, introducing Penny Marshall's Laverne DeFazio and Cindy Williams' Shirley Feeney as friends of the Cunningham family. Their chemistry was so natural and their comedy so perfect that ABC immediately ordered their own series. What made this crossover legendary wasn't just the laughs. It was the authenticity. Laverne and Shirley felt like real Milwaukee working girls who would actually be friends with the Cunninghams. When the Fonz arranged dates for them, it felt like something that could really happen in 1950s Milwaukee. This crossover proved that sometimes the best spin-offs come from characters who feel like they already belong in the world. Laverne and Shirley became one of the most successful sitcoms of all time, all because they perfectly fit into Happy Days' universe while bringing their own unique energy. Number 8. The Rookies and SWAT, 1975. ABC had a brilliant idea that's barely survived on YouTube. What happens when regular patrol cops encounter a situation that requires elite tactical response? The Rookies followed young police officers learning their craft, while SWAT would showcase the specialized team that handled the most dangerous situation. On February 17, 1975, ABC aired the two-part Rookies episode SWAT, which served as a backdoor pilot for the new series. When a hostage situation escalated beyond normal police capabilities, Lieutenant Dan Hondo Harrelson and his tactical team took over the operation. Watching the rookie officers step back and let the specialists handle the crisis was like seeing your neighborhood patrol officers call in the Navy SEALs. Different training levels, different equipment, but all part of the same law enforcement family. This crossover was so successful that SWAT premiered just 1 week later, proving that sometimes the best spin-offs come from showing audiences something they've never seen before. Number 7. Adam 12, 1972. The flip side of our number 19 entry, but slightly more popular on YouTube with a whopping 1,700 views. On October 14, 1972, NBC aired the Adam 12 episode Lost and Found, where officers Malloy and Reed encountered a situation that required paramedic assistance from Squad 51. This time, the story focused more on the police perspective while showing how they work with fire department personnel. Watching Pete Malloy's veteran experience combined with Roy DeSoto's medical expertise was like seeing two different types of heroes recognize each other's skills. The crossover worked both ways because both shows understood that real emergency response is a team effort. Police, fire, and medical personnel all work together to save lives and protect communities. These crossovers weren't just entertainment. They were public service announcements disguised as great television. Number 6. Barnaby Jones, 1975. Two of CBS's most unlikely detectives joined forces, and it was absolutely perfect. Cannon featured Frank Cannon, the overweight private investigator who solved cases through persistence and street smarts. Barnaby Jones showcased the elderly detective who used folksy charm and sharp analytical skills to catch criminals. On September 16 to 19, 1975, CBS created The Deadly Conspiracy, a two-parter that started on Cannon and concluded on Barnaby Jones. When a complex murder case involved both organized crime and corporate corruption, both detectives had to pool their resources to solve it. Watching William Conrad's tough, no-nonsense Cannon work alongside Buddy Ebsen's gentle, methodical Barnaby was like seeing your street-smart uncle team up with your wise grandfather. Different generations, different approaches, but both absolutely relentless when it came to finding the truth. This crossover worked because it showed that detective work isn't about age or appearance. It's about dedication and intelligence. Sometimes the most unexpected partnerships create the best results. Number 5. The Partridge Family, 1971. Before Getting Together became Bobby Sherman's vehicle for teen heartthrob stardom. His character Bobby Conway actually appeared on The Partridge Family as a young songwriter trying to make it in the music business. The Partridge Family was pure 70s family entertainment, a widowed mother and her musical kids traveling the country in their psychedelic bus. The crossover made sense because both shows were about the music industry, but it felt like watching two different generations of pop music collide. The Partridge Family was wholesome family fun, while Getting Together was trying to be hipper and more adult-oriented. It was like watching the Brady Bunch meet Hair. When Bobby Sherman's character worked with the Partridge Family, viewers got to see what happened when a solo artist collaborated with a family band. Different approaches to music, different target audiences, but somehow they made it work for one brief, shining moment. This crossover worked because it showed that music brings people together, regardless of age or style. Sometimes the best collaborations happen when different musical worlds meet. Number 4. Petticoat Junction, Green Acres, and the Beverly Hillbillies, 1960s to 70s. CBS created television's first rural comedy universe decades before anyone called it a shared universe. These three shows, Petticoat Junction, Green Acres, and the Beverly Hillbillies, were constantly crossing paths, sharing characters, and creating one big countryside community that stretched from California to Beverly Hills. The magic happened most often between Petticoat Junction and Green Acres, since they both took place in Hooterville. Characters would regularly visit each other's shows, creating this living, breathing small-town world where everyone knew everyone. Uncle Joe from the Shady Rest Hotel might show up to help Oliver Douglas with his farming disasters, while the girls from Petticoat Junction would visit the Clampetts in Beverly Hills. The culture clash was incredible. The sophisticated but clueless Oliver Douglas trying to understand the down-home wisdom of Uncle Joe, or the Beverly Hillbillies bringing their mountain ways to the already chaotic world of Hooterville. It was like watching three different flavors of American comedy blend into one perfect small-town stew. These crossovers worked because they celebrated rural American values while gently mocking both city sophistication and country simplicity. Sometimes the best shared universes are built on genuine affection for the characters and their communities. Number 3. The Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew. Mysteries, 1977. ABC had a brilliant idea. What happens when you put two of the most famous teen detectives in literary history together to solve mysteries? The Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew. Mysteries alternated between the Hardy brothers' cases and Nancy Drew's investigations, but occasionally they'd team up for the ultimate teenage detective experience. When Frank and Joe Hardy joined forces with Nancy Drew, viewers got to see different approaches to mystery solving. The Hardy Boys brought their brotherly teamwork and street-smart investigation techniques, while Nancy Drew contributed her analytical mind and fearless determination. Watching three brilliant teenage minds work together to crack cases that stumped adults was pure television gold. The Hardy Boys' practical, hands-on approach, combining with Nancy Drew's intellectual, methodical style, was like seeing a junior version of the greatest detective partnerships in history. These crossovers worked because they showed that great detective work comes from combining different strengths and perspectives. Sometimes, solving mysteries requires both book smarts and street smarts, and having three sharp minds is always better than one. Number 2. Marcus Welby, MD, and Owen Marshall, Counselor at Law, 1971. Two of ABC's most respected dramas decided to tackle a case that needed both medical expertise and legal advocacy. Marcus Welby, MD, showed the compassionate family doctor dealing with patients' health crises, while Owen Marshall, Counselor at Law, featured the idealistic lawyer fighting for justice in the courtroom. On November 16 to 18, 1971, ABC created a powerful two-parter. It started with Marcus Welby, MD episode Men Who Care, and continued in Owen Marshall's episode of the same name. When a medical malpractice case threatened both a doctor's career and a patient's life, both professionals had to work together to find the truth. Watching Robert Young's gentle bedside manner combine with Arthur Hill's passionate legal arguments was like seeing your favorite uncle team up with your most respected teacher. Different professions, same dedication to helping people. The crossover highlighted how medical and legal ethics often intersect when lives are on the line. This crossover worked because it showed that sometimes the best partnerships happen when different types of expertise come together for a common cause. Both men understood that their ultimate goal wasn't winning cases or treating symptoms. It was protecting people and upholding justice. Number 1, The Streets of San Francisco and Burt D'Angelo Superstar, 1976. ABC decided to bridge both coasts with their cop shows, creating one of the most geographically ambitious crossovers of the decade. The Streets of San Francisco featured the mentor-student dynamic between veteran detective Mike Stone and young Inspector Steve Keller on the West Coast. Burt D'Angelo Superstar showcased the tough New York detective dealing with crime in the Big Apple. When a case involving organized crime stretched from New York to San Francisco, both departments had to work together. The crossover highlighted the different approaches to police work: San Francisco's more methodical, relationship-based investigation style versus New York's fast-paced, street-smart techniques. Watching Carl Malden's seasoned Mike Stone collaborate with Paul Cheaty's intense Burt D'Angelo was like seeing two different police philosophies meet on common ground. West Coast patience meeting, East Coast urgency, but both committed to getting the job done. This crossover worked because it showed that crime doesn't respect city limits. And sometimes catching the bad guys requires cooperation across the entire country. The best police work happens when different departments share their expertise. These forgotten 70s TV show crossovers you missed were the best 70s TV show crossover episodes ever made. From underrated 70s TV crossovers you never saw to surprising TV crossovers from the 1970s, these rare 1970s TV show crossovers prove old TV shows with crossover episodes were ahead of their time. Want more vintage TV crossovers from the 1970s? Subscribe for classic TV crossovers from the 70s and 80s.